Hi there, my name is Christian Meacham, and I am going to share with you my psychosocial and social emotional development presentation. So today's lesson plan looks like this. So we're going to introduce psychosocial development, talk about keywords, introduce emotional development, discuss keywords, and then close out. First off, we're going to talk about Erik Erikson. He is an ego psychologist who developed the most popular and most influential theories of development. Today, we're going to talk about his theory of psychosocial development. So Erikson also believed that there is a sense of competence that motivates behaviors and actions. There are 8 stages of development. Each stage in Erikson's theory is concerned with becoming competent in an area of life. If this stage is handled well, the person will feel a sense of mastery, which is sometimes referred to as ego strength or ego quality. So, like I said, there are 8 stages of development, starting with infancy, going all the way to stage 8, which is maturity. So we have our first stage in Erikson's theory. This is our infant stage, so this is age 0 to 1. And we can see here that if the infant receives consistent and predictable, reliable care, they will develop a sense of trust, which will carry with them to other relationships. So once we start here, it's going to go all the way to their maturity stage. Our next stage is age 2. And you might know this as the terrible twos, right? So we see them and they're getting into everything. They're knocking things over. I said, don't do that. And they do it anyways, right? So they're exploring their independence. They should be allowed to. I think it's really great because ultimately we want our kids to turn into independent adults. So if we allow them to be independent now, then they'll be independent later. Our third stage is from ages 3 to 5, and this is a really, really fun stage. This is a stage where our kids are asking questions. They are looking at things from a different perspective. They're curious, they're inquisitive, right? And at this stage, they're also building interpersonal relationships. So they're maybe having play dates now or going to preschool, and they see that they just get along with another kiddo. So they're just building those relationships. It's a really fun stage for us. Stage 4 is ages 6 to 12. So this is from our first graders all the way to junior high. They're figuring out their confidence. They're getting a sense of pride of who they are. And it's just a really good place to see where they are. Because a lot of times we see a lot of insecure kids in this stage. But we want to be able to make sure that they do feel that sense of confidence and they do feel that sense of pride. Our 5th stage is ages 12 to 18, and this is a transitional period. They're looking towards the future and where they should be, right? So it could look like them going to college, applying for scholarships, maybe playing a sport in college, or going and doing a trade school and being an electrician. It could look like dreaming. So my sister, she is 14 years old. She would be in this stage, and she is dreaming about being a pop star. She wants to be a singer. And myself being outside of this stage and like the percentage is pretty low. But you know what? If you want to dream and do that, go and do that, pursue it, get better, and progress. And I think at this stage, that's the magic within this stage, that there are endless possibilities for our kids in this age. So that's really great. Our sixth stage is 18 to 40. So this is exploring relationships, longer commitments, and developing a deep sense of love and care. So this is the stage I'm in. I am married, so I am exploring my relationship with my husband and seeking a deeper and more intimate relationship with him every single day. And that doesn't just have to pertain to people, but it can pertain to your career, maybe with your relationship with God, with friends, family, just seeking those deeper, intimate relationships more than surface. Stage 7 is for our 40 to 65-year-olds. And at this stage, one is usually settling down and has plans for a bigger future. So when I think of this age, I think of the latter, which is 65, right? And they're like, retirement, I'm ready. I did what I need to do. Now it's time for myself. Maybe time to give back, settle down, take care of my house. So maybe it's investing in your church by tithing or giving blood It could be just investing in your home, like cutting your grass and taking care of it. Our eighth and final stage is ages 65 and up. So at this stage, one may reflect back on their lives and all they've accomplished or maybe not have accomplished. So sometimes this can be a really hard stage as our adults or maybe our elderly are feeling like they're not useful anymore, that they can't make impact, they don't know what their purpose is anymore. And as you grow older, I don't think, elderly doesn't equal no purpose, right? Actually, I think they have more purpose. They have the wisdom to pour down and pass down to us that don't know all the things that they know. So I think this is a really great stage, but shouldn't be something to despair, but something to celebrate. The next thing that we're going to talk about is social emotional development. So this is talking about our feelings. How do we express them? How do we manage them? And how do we experience them? So this is social emotional development. Responsive caregiving. So this is sending children the message that they are important. If they know that they are important, then they'll feel important and they'll make others feel important. Emotional security. So if we know how we're feeling, if we can gauge and figure out this is how I'm feeling, you know what, I need to take a breather and I'll come back. Having that tool in your tool belt is so amazing. So that's emotional security. Temperament. This is my favorite one because I love the uniqueness, the quirks of people, and it all comes down to temperament, and that comes down to biology. So this refers to consistent individual differences in behavior that are biologically based and are relatively independent of learning system of values and attitudes. So this is not something that we learn. This is something that we're born with, and I think that's the most interesting part. Emotional regulation. If you take a look over at our picture here, it says mind over matter. And this is all about emotional regulation, the ability to exert control over one's own emotional state. Yes, something really traumatic did happen, but that's not going to ruin my future. And just having that kind of mindset is how you can emotionally regulate your life. Then we have impulse control. So as you can see from our picture here, there are different things that maybe people deal with that we can't control. So maybe it's gambling, maybe it's eating, right? It could be anything. This is a condition in which a person has trouble controlling emotions or behaviors. Social understanding. This is not something just for toddlers. It is for people everywhere of all ages. Let me tell you, I work with the population of kids that have autism, and they don't have this. So this is something I try to always teach them, always just kind of coach them about. And it's just understanding and kind of reading the room. Maybe if someone's feeling like this, looking like this, they'll know not to bother them at this. They need a minute by themselves. Affective. So this refers to the underlying experience of feeling, emotion, or mood. So you can look calm, cool, and collected on the outside, but on the inside, you're just mourning whatever's going on the inside. So maybe something happened, but you're not letting anyone see that. That's affective. Empathy. This is also something I teach my kids in my autism class because they don't pick up on these social cues. So if someone is, they stub their toe and you run over and you say, man, that looked like it really hurt. Do you need some ice? Because when I stubbed my toe, ice really helped. So having that empathy is a really powerful tool to increase your friendship, intimacy, and stuff like that. Self-efficacy. This is something I need to work on. I know that I do. And this is the belief that we have in our own abilities, specifically our abilities to meet challenges ahead of us and complete a task successfully. So something that we are confident in doing and we know that we can do it. Sense of self. This is our last one. So sense of self, as you can see, she's really loving herself. There's the hearts that are coming out, and this is the way that you view yourself, and you know that you have a strong sense of self, maybe defined by knowing your own goals, values, and ideals. So knowing those things and loving yourself loving yourself because of your strengths and because of your weaknesses. So thank you so much for tuning into my presentation. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson.